everybody, I'm Sayaka Ichigo Kamishiro Arclight, and today I'm drawing my original character, Azura Shiroboshi, for a style challenge. Now, for those who do not know what a style challenge is, or what kind I'm doing, because there's several kinds, I'm doing that one where you draw your character, typically it's your character, in several different people's style, or cartoon styles, or anime styles, and then you finally draw it in your own. So, yeah, that's what I'm doing here. Now, I did want to show myself drawing in the Ever People styles, the ones that I've picked, but sadly, I had to open up a lot of stuff. Like, I bought some Patreon packs of theirs off of Gumroad, which, I can't share those because they're paid for, and, they're only allowed to be shared if you pay. You can't share them. That's what I'm trying to say. You can only view them if you pay for them. So yeah, I had to open up that stuff, and I also was looking a lot at their speed paints because I want to do more than just mimic their styles. I wanted to try to do it in the exact same way that they were doing. I've done style challenges twice before. One time I drew my character Kyla in different anime styles, and I actually did like that one, and I thought I did pretty good in it. But I did attempt to draw Kyla again, doing my senpai styles, which is what I'm doing here. But sadly, it wasn't working out. Also, I was just doing it by looking at their artwork. I wasn't actually looking at any of their speed paints, and some of them didn't even have speed paints. I wasn't looking at any of their stuff. I didn't have any of their Patreon packs. I didn't have any of their brush setting. So yeah, I was just doing it by visual look, and it wasn't turning out so good, so I just stopped. But I finally wanted to do it again because, like I said, I've recently bought some old Patreon packs on Gumroad, which came with their PSD files of certain senpais. I also had now some of their brushes, the same ones that they use, and I'm like, okay, I've got almost everything now. I've got Clip Studio Paint, I've got Paint Tool Sai. I'm going to try to do this, so that's what I'm going to try to do, and I think I did pretty good at them. And the funny thing about a style challenge is that I myself like to mimic other people's styles, but I don't really have one of my own. Yeah, I always feel bad about myself because I don't really have a style of my own. I more just mimic other people's styles and then kind of just change things up a little bit, which is also why my style keeps on changing, and it's really annoying. So yeah, anyway, it was really hard. Well, it's funny because this one was the easiest for me to do because by the time I got around to drawing Azura in my style, I've already drawn her 5 other times, so I knew exactly what to do, and such. But it was really hard to, like, okay, well, what am I doing? How do I make this coloring style unique? And in the end, it still doesn't look unique. And I'm not going to stick to this style all the time, but if I'm going to do something like really basic, I guess this is what I'll do. I guess, I don't know. But yeah, I guess the things that I could say that I like to do that are pretty constant is for my line art, I like to use the brush tool because I think it's the smoothest one. I know a lot of people like to use the pen tool, and I do use that sometimes, but I don't think it's as smooth as the brush tool. And I also like a really smooth, bright shading. I think probably the artists that were the most inspirational to me were Rosary, Kazehime, aka Soundless Wind, or Holly Bunny. I think that's the free name she goes by. And Hentai, and not hentai art. It is an artist named Hentai. And okay, I knew there was one ever here. I'm gonna say Nekorina, which is the illustrator or the author. I don't know. I get the illustrator and author mixed up of Kala Princess. Those are probably the most inspirational artists. that I've had, the ones that and Kananatsu, but the ones that I've actually learned from a lot is like Maracryli. I've learned a lot from Kananatsu. I've learned a lot from my friend Lydia, and yeah, that's probably the way I would say it. But usually the first artist that I mentioned, Holly Bunny. Oh, Nardak. That was the other one. Nardak, Holly Bunny, Rosary, and Hentai. Those are styles that I like the most, and that's kind of what I like to base my art on when I'm doing my own style, or I guess if you want to call it that. I had a little problem with Azura's eyes. I do like the way I colored them, but I think I made the eyelashes a little too big because she kind of doesn't look like Azura almost in some ways. It's so big. I really do like this way that I colored her eyes. I came up with this method on my own, so that is nice that I did that. Someday I might do a video on how to color eyes. But yeah, at the end of this video I will show the finished product in whole, including the Ever People styles who I've mimicked, which right now I'm doing my best to keep covered up. I think they kind of showed a little bit earlier. But yeah, I definitely can say I've learned a lot from different artists that I've watched, and I don't know, I think I'm running out of things to say because I had to make sure I sped up my speech so fast because I was like, okay, I don't have that much long. I only have 11 minutes of the speed paint to do, so I have to talk fast. And then I said it too fast, so now I don't really know what to say. I think the most hardest thing for me to draw is hair and clothing. I'm gonna say clothing's the most hardest, but hair can just be time consuming. It's not that it's hard, it's just time consuming, and then it gets boring, and then I'm like, I rush it usually at the end. But once I kind of get towards the end, I do pretty good. Clothing is what I actually have trouble with, because I'm like, okay, how many wrinkles do I put it in? Where do I put the wrinkles? And lighting. That's usually where I have the most trouble. Because, like, with this dress, I gave Azura a new dress. In fact, I even put her hair in a different style. Usually her loops are on the side, as you can see right there, but this time the hair loops are in the back. It's kind of supposed to look like butterfly wings. It's a reference to, well, it's a reference to nothing, but I first drew it with this hairstyle in this one kimono. She had a sakura kimono and a butterfly, like, hairstyle, and it was supposed to be a reference to her boyfriend's family restaurant, the Sakura and Butterfly. Anyway, I'm rambling. I'm meant to be talking about clothing. Yeah, clothing. The thing that's hard is with this dress, it's supposed to be more, it's not like skin tight, but it is supposed to be more fitted to her. And with some of the colorings, like you'll see later on with some of the style challenges, I was like, okay, I think I put a little too much shadow on it, so now it looks almost big, like it's not quite form fit. Again, it's not skin tight, it's just really fitted to her. And that's kind of the difference. Another thing that's hard for me is getting the colors just right. Like with Azura's hair, it's kind of bluish, but it's kind of got this like green tinge to it. It's not green at all, but it's kind of got this like aqua-y green tints at the top and stuff, because I don't want it completely blue, but I don't want it completely green. And like sometimes it takes me forever to get eyes right, but eyes are probably my favorite thing to draw. So yeah, anyway, like I said, I'm kind of rushed it, so I don't know what else to say, because I'm not gonna say anything else until I get to the end. But yeah, like I was saying, clothing, like right here, I don't know, it's like, how much shadow do I put? Because if I put too much shadow in, then it will look baggy, and I don't want it to look baggy. Like some outfits I have more trouble with than others. Like usually clothing that is, I think clothing like this, that isn't like skin tight, but it isn't loose either, that I would have problems with that. But yeah, if you want to make a good clothing, I'm not the person you ask, but if you want my advice, you definitely want to make sure it looks good. To make it look good, I mean. Of course you want to make it look good. That's what everyone aims for. Idiot. But anyway, if you want to make it look good, is you want to know where the shadows are. That's the key thing, because that will give your drawing depth. And when your drawing has depth, that's what makes it look good. Because I've seen people who just have like okay anatomy, but if you get it colored right, it can look really amazing. And yeah, I know sometimes it's hard to color because like I've come so far in my coloring. I cannot believe it. I've looked at some of my old art and it's just like bleh. I used to try to do everything on one layer at one time. Okay, I don't know if you can hear this, but my dog's snoring. That's what, if you are hearing something go. Anyway, I used to do everything on one layer because I hate things being messy. And that was the biggest difference that I was noticing in my art that was different from other people's, is that they just don't label their layers. They just keep the numbers. They might label a few things, but for the most part, they keep it in numbers. I get really mixed up, so I have to label everything. So yeah, that would be one difference. Which is kind of funny because it's like, if I was to say different things that I've learned from other artists, they would be like, oh, you learned that from us? I didn't know we were doing that. Well, it doesn't matter. That's what I learned from you. But anyway, so yeah, there you have it. It's done. Okay, so these are styles that I ended up going with, and I don't think any of them are spot on to the ones that I'm mimicking, but yeah, if they were, I think I'd be doing high-powered missions, and then I would be, I don't know. Anyway, it was just a joke, a bad joke. Stupid. Anyway, moving on. So yeah, the very first one that I did was Galaxy style. He can be found on Pixes and DeviantArt and Instagram. I'm gonna link down to their most used social platform down in the description below. Please support these artists, or at least check them out. They are really, really cool. Kawasi's I found through actually another artist, Rosary. I will talk about her in a minute. Yeah, I was really digging his whole gold hues and stuff. I don't usually do this because I'm gonna be honest, I do like brighter colors, and he used a lot of this more dull gold, brownish tints. And even though it's not my favorite, I do love the way he does it. I think he really does a good job on drawing like metals and shiny things. So that's what I was really trying to emphasize was this drawing, which is why the buttons are metal, which is why I gave a diamond on the shoe, and why I made a sparkly necklace. In fact, several of the things that are with this dress I designed to really show off different techniques. And the first time I tried to mimic his style, I was just doing it by visual looks, meaning I was just looking at his picture and trying to guess what he did. And it didn't turn out bad, but it wasn't good. But now, recently, I've purchased some of his old Patreon packs off of Gumroad. I can't support my favorite artists monthly on Patreon, so I buy their packs off of Gumroad, which, yeah, his are really cool because they're really cheap and it comes with a lot of stuff. So, yeah, definitely get that to check out if you want. And I am really happy with how this turned out. It doesn't look exactly like his, but I think I did really good. I did a completely different coloring style, different than I usually do, because I was trying to not also just mimic his style. Like I said, I was trying to follow along with exactly how he was doing it. And I've made like a few mistakes, like right there. I meant to erase that, and it's supposed to be blue there, but yeah, whatever was that. But I am happy with it because, like I said, this was very, very different from how I usually color. All the way down from the base coloring to, well, the colors themselves. I don't usually use these colors when coloring characters, especially if it's a character this bright and colorful. But I think that's why I like it so much. So the next one I did was Rosary, and Rosary is the oldest artist I was following, and she's really, really cool. Definitely check her out. She's mostly active on Pixie's Twitter and Instagram. She used to be on DA, but she's moved. But yeah, I really am happy with this because I also bought a pack from her off of Gumroad. I bought several of her packs, and one of them came with her own line art pen tool, which was so cool. And the first time I did this, once again, I just did it visually. I didn't have any videos or anything like that, and I didn't have her tools, but now I had her pen tool and I had some of her speed paints that I bought, and it was really fun. And I'm most happy with how the hair and the eyes came out. I've been actually mimicking her eye style for a long time. And yeah, also there was some things that were done differently with lighting. Like she puts this, I won't say too much about it, but she like puts this darker tone on it and then she kind of lightens things up, and it's really different than how I would do it, and it was just fun. And I think that was the most funnest thing with these two, is that just how different they did certain things that I did not do. And I had a lot of fun. Like, I really liked how the lace turned out. Oh yeah, I accomplished most of Kawasi's in Paint Tool Sai. I just did a few things like this sparkles in Clip Studio Paint. Mostly everything else is Paint Tool Sai, which I'm actually surprised he uses that software. Because he does use Photoshop too, but I'm surprised he used Paint Tool Sai as his main drawing one. For Rosary, another reason why I'm really proud about it is she uses Clip Studio Paint in Photoshop. Now, I do not have Photoshop, but I do have Clip Studio Paint, and I drew this entire thing in Paint Tool Sai Clip Studio Paint. Outside of like a few base colorings and stuff, which I still have trouble doing in Clip Studio Paint because I have not mastered the selection wand at all. In CSP, I did the entire coloring process in Clip Studio Paint, and it was so satisfying to accomplish this, because the first time I tried to mimic her style, and it's kind of a mistake right there, I better get rid of that later, but the first time I tried to mimic her style, I was just doing it in Paint Tool Sai, but this time I did it in Clip Studio Paint, and I was just, yeah. Hers was really fun. Okay, the next one is Yananatsu, and I don't think she has a Patreon, but she has sold her brushes on Gumroad in her Happy Potato Pack, and that's what I bought, which is how I was able to use, accomplish this line art to be so much like hers. Now, hers was simultaneously the most easiest, but also the most hardest, because she has a lot of speed paint, so there was a lot of stuff to work with. But at the same time, she kind of always changes her style a little bit. Like, she has several different variants of her style. And then on top of that, she also uses Paint Tool Sai, and she uses Clip Studio Paint. She sometimes uses both. She sometimes just uses one. I followed along with her Clip Studio Paint one mostly, although I did do some things in Paint Tool Sai. But I mostly did in Clip Studio Paint because that seems to be what she uses a lot now. And like I said, I was really satisfied with this one. I think the only thing I'm probably not satisfied with is, I think the lace down here could have been a little better. But rather than that, I think it's good. I love the way I accomplished the hair. I don't think it's as good as Hiyanatsu's hair coloring, because hers is just so amazing. It's got like this thick, heavy look to it, but at the same time it looks so smooth and glossy. And I really do like it. But it was really fun doing this one, and I've mimicked her style a lot of times before in practice videos and ever stuff, and practice drawings. So I was really used to doing that. The next one is Nekorina, and okay, honestly, this one's probably the one I'm satisfied with the least. I love the colors. The colors look so good. Like, for all of the colors, I was trying to look for drawings that had similar features to Azura. Like, for Kawasi's, I found this one drawing he drew of Bulma from Dragon Ball Z, and I was like, okay, that hair is pretty close to Azura, so I used that as my reference. He also had, in his explanatory guide, which came in the Gumroad pack, of how he makes his color, so that helped too. And for, like, Hiyanatsu's, I found this one character that was for Shimmer 50, I think that was her name. that she did, and the character had very similar hair to Azura. So that's what I did with Nekorina's too, is I tried to use colors that she used in characters that had similar features to Azura. So I really do love how the colors look, and I don't think it's bad. I just don't think it looks as much like hers. Again, she's kind of changed up her style too. She had this like more mover style, and now she uses it. She goes and clips studio paint, and I'm not gonna say that it's not still smooth and glossy, because it still has that look. Yet at the same time, it kind of has changed. She almost have this like painted, I'm gonna say like watercolory effect sometimes, and it looks beautiful. I'm not saying that it doesn't look beautiful, and it's just that because it kind of changed, and I was going back and forth between our newer videos and our older videos. Like, I was trying to stay closer to our newer videos because I wanted to stay relevant to her current style. But because I kind of went back and forth between her medium old videos, like, I didn't go back to her old videos, but I kind of looked at a few of her less newer videos and then a few of her newer ones. I was going back and forth, so to me it just doesn't look quite as much like her style, but I am happy with the looks. Like I said, I love the colors. And then finally we have ISL. Oh, hers was so fun, and hers was the easiest because she actually has drawn Azura in an art trade. Please check that out. She has a speed paint of it too, so I was able to follow along with that speed paint pretty much, so I didn't even have to guess with the colors because she already colored her. She is a really amazing artist, and she actually follows me on almost all of my platforms, and she's really nice, and she has amazing art. So yeah, her style was definitely easy, and it was so fun. Like, she kind of has this way of making everything look really bouncy and really light, and everything looks really loose and so shiny. The eyes were so fun to do, and I really think I did a good job. Like I said, I made a few mistakes, like right there. There's some blue where there shouldn't be. And the shoe could have been better, but rather than that, I really am proud of this. And then finally we have my style. Yeah, I like the way I colored my eyes, and I like the way the hair is. But like I said, I think the eyes are a little bit too big on the eyelashes, so it kind of makes her look a little off. But rather than that, the blue, everything else is right, because this is the way I would have colored her. Which is another reason why I covered these up when I was coloring her, because I really didn't want it to affect my style. I wanted to try to do this how I would do it and ignore everything else. Also, if you notice, the backgrounds are all kind of different. I tried to color the backgrounds kind of like how they did, but in the same time, I would just like, I'm doing my own thing. I don't know. But anyway, so there's my style challenge. Again, I apologize that I couldn't show the other ones, but in my defense, it would have been really long and really kind of boring because I'd just be doing the same thing over and over again. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video, and it's mostly was me just doing a speed paint and then me just rambling, so yeah, kind of weird. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed it, and I will be back with another one hopefully soon. Bye!